Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I'd like to share my research in Banda Aceh province. The title of the study is Immediate Effect of Community Leadership on Community Resilience and Community Response at Banda Aceh province. This research is a consolidated effort from University National Defence University of Malaysia and Tsunami Disaster Mitigation Research Center, Shah Kuala University. Members of the research is myself, Nur Azmi Muhammad Zainul, Rina Otari, Khairul Mudani, Safar Yaakob, Nurulaila Mazura, and Jessica Ong. Banda Aceh is a low-rise metropolis with population of 250,000 of people living along the coastline, plain and delta of Aceh River, Banda Aceh. Comprises of 9 sub-provinces: Maurasa, Jaya Baru, Banda Raya, Batu Rahman, Uleng Bata, Kuta Alam, Kuta Raja, Shah Kuala, and also Uleng Karing. However, in 26 December 2004, there is an earthquake of magnitude 9.1 Richter scale that caused tsunami in the coastline of Sumatra that affect 160,000 people deaths and missing, and include 6,000 in the capital of Aceh itself. And follow up from that, in April 2012, there is another earthquake that not caused tsunami of the magnitude of 8.6 Richter scale that also struck at the offshore of Indian Ocean. The impact of disaster, actually they have three impact. That is impact to the people, properties, and also environment. In the people, it will affect on fatality and also injury, while properties, property damage and losses of property, and also for environment will be the environmental damage. Some of the literature for the studies is disaster defined as a serious disruption of functioning of society, cause widespread human, material, and environment losses, which exceed the ability that affected society to cope using its own resources. According to the National Security Council, Directive Number 20, disaster is defined as an incident that occurs unexpectedly, complex in nature, resulting in loss of lives and damage to properties and the environmental, as well as interfering the daily activities of the local community. The incident requires the management, which involves resources, equipment, frequency, and sensitive manpower from various agencies, as well as effective coordination and possibility of taking complex action over a long period of time. For disaster resilience, a process and condition which communities that enhance or reduce population ability to resist, adapt to, and recover from shock or worrying within the shortest possible time with little or no outside assistance. Community resilience defined as the ability of community to withstand and mitigate the stress of disaster. There is less clarity on the precise resilient building process. For leadership, is defined as the ability to guide and motivate individual, groups, and community to achieve a specific goal by guiding them and providing focus and inspiration. Leadership is not a preserve that those at the top, but can be practiced by anyone within the right skill. For community leaders, is this situation a need to set direction in mid of confusion, encourage rescue and rebuilding effort, be a comforter, a source of support, hope, and purpose. According to Hugo Framework of Action, the study that conducted found that community preparedness for response with proper education, awareness program, exposed to training leads to consolidated reaction and balanced attitude about disaster are ready and properly respond toward disaster risk and reduce the injury caused by disaster. According to Li Jujiang, found that 15 witnesses within the 4 males and 11 females participating in the interview found that education such as awareness, exposure, experience, and attitude were associated with cognitive preparedness for response toward disaster. And another research from Abi Sudani and Tokai found that is to measure overall resilience in a community such as community attitude, awareness, exposure, focusing on risk perception and citizen response on Suita City in the Osaka prefecture of Japan. The objective of the study, first, is to examine community leadership mediate the relationship between community awareness and community response. Secondly, to examine community leadership mediate the relationship between community attitude and community response. And thirdly, to examine community leadership mediate the relationship between the community exposure and community response. The consensus framework and the hypothesis as shown. This is the independent variable comprises of community awareness, community attitude, and exposure, while the community response is the dependent variables and mediating effect is the community leadership. There is 3 hypotheses. First hypothesis, looking into the community leadership mediate relationship between community awareness and community response. And secondly, hypothesis 2 is looking into community leadership mediate relationship between community attitude and community response. And thirdly, or hypothesis 3, the community leadership mediate relationship between community exposure and community response. Methodology of this research will cover the research design using the cross-sectional method, while the location of the research is conducted towards the local community who lives at Banda Aceh. There is 9 sub-provinces, as I mentioned earlier, in Aceh, Indonesia. While on data collection, we have conducted the literature review, semi-structured interview, in which we have interviewed 6 experienced head of local community. And for the survey, the actual survey, we have distributed the questionnaires to the community in that 9 respective area, and we received 542 samples. And data analysis we are using on top of SPSS, we have generated the Smart PLS version 3.28 for structured equation modeling. The results for the demographic result: males 59%, ethnic group in Aceh community 90.2%, bachelor status comprises of 55.2%, age group from 31 to 30 years old 37.3%, level of education at SMA level 53%, community living at Jaya Baru, Banda Aceh, one of the sub-province 12.2%, living in the area more than 10 years about 48%. Most of them earning with other activities 40.2%, without any earning of income 48%, as the honorary member of community social responsibility 86%, and involved in community disaster preparedness activity there are 85.8% that never involved in the disaster preparedness in that respective area. for the analysis of data, firstly we are looking into the aspect of FMA or competitive factor analysis. We are looking into phonological testing, whereby the value of AVE, square root of AVE, is higher than the numbers of below diagonal below the statistics. The AVE, average variance expected, must be more than 0.5. For this case, the value is achieved accordingly. For factor loading, the numbers of items for leadership, there are 4 items, awareness 5 items, exposure 6 items, response 5 items, and attitude 5 items. And the cross loading for discriminant analysis of discriminant validity, we found that the value is more than 0.7. They consider adequate. And for the composite reliability, it should be more than 0.8. That consider the high internal consistency. And also Cronbach alpha, for the actual survey, it's supposed to be more than 0.8. The outcome of testing of effect model, the hypothesis that I have mentioned earlier, the 3 hypotheses, we found that the hypothesis 1, 2, and also hypothesis 3, R squared values is 0.288 and 0.318 is considered low, and only one, whereby awareness and response, the value is not significant. The rest is significant, and the p-value also the same. Only awareness and response is not significant. For the significant value, it should be more than 1.96. Discussion and presentation. This study provides significant impact of 3 major aspects. Theoretical contribution. This study revealed that community leadership in the hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2 and 3 is complementary mediation or partial mediation, as I've mentioned just now. The relationship is complementary mediation or partial mediation, correlated with awareness, attitude, exposure, and community response. Research method. The survey questionnaire used in this exercise the minimum standard of validity and reliability analysis. This can lead to produce accurate, reliable finding. This has been mentioned in the analysis just now. Practical contribution. This finding can be used as a guideline by Banda Aceh response agencies to improve the community disaster preparedness program for response in case of future disasters. Recommendation. Most of community believe that disaster education program need to be properly provided to respective community in order to increase their awareness and readiness for disaster response. Disaster response agencies personnel in Banda Aceh must have a clear understanding of organizational structure, command, and authority related to manage disaster. The capability of the disaster response agency leaders and local community leaders also to cope with disaster risk management in performing challenging responsibility. For example, the readiness, compliance to respective law, cooperation within the agencies, and commitment and ethic of every single person in the agencies. Further educational and awareness raising campaigns are needed to help stakeholders recognize the vulnerability of hazardous installations in natural disaster that can contribute to vulnerability of the community that been in that respective area, living in that respective area. This research was funded by research grant and RGS 2013, and I would also thank the Defence Ministry of Malaysia, Research Centre of Humanitarian Assistance Disaster Relief (HCDR), and also Ministry of Education in Malaysia, and not to forget the TDRMC of Research Centre of Shah Kuala University. Thank you.